Hello student, Computer Science Paper 2. So let us begin. Student, we already started with chapter number 1, Introduction to Microprocessor and Organization of 8085. We have seen 6 lectures of the 8085. So today is the 7th lecture. So let us summarize what we have done in previous lectures. So we started with what is microprocessor, the function of microprocessor, then evolution of microprocessor, then functional pin diagram of 8085 Intel 8085. We have 40 pin IC. We have seen all the 40 pins in detail, their functions. Then we have seen block diagram of a microcomputer and explanation of each block. Then we have seen organization of ALU with the help of a simple block diagram. So till now we have completed up to this. So let us proceed. So we'll see the CPU register of Intel 8085 with the function of each register, or the programming model of 8085 microprocessor unit, that is MPU. So the microprocessor consists of three parts. The first is control unit and instruction decoder, arithmetic and logic unit, and the register. The control unit and instruction decoder, the function of this block is to synchronize and control the overall operation of the microprocessor system, to decode instruction and pass the necessary control signal to the unit, to the CPU or to the peripheral devices. Arithmetic and logic unit to perform the arithmetic and logic operation within the CPU. So we have seen ALU, arithmetic and logic unit. It consists of a binary adder, a shifter, and status register, along with the accumulator and temporary resistor, which are not the part of ALU, but they are supposed to be the part of ALU, that is arithmetic and logic unit, to perform arithmetic and logical operation within the CPU. Today we are going to see the register, a set of internal storage location within the CPU. So registers are nothing but a set of internal storage location within the CPU or MPU. So the programming model of 8085. Now see here, the programming model is shown. So here the programming model consists of the registers, accumulator, the register B, register C, register D, register E, H, L, stack pointer, and program counter, and they are connected to address lines and data lines. Okay, so all these registers, 8 registers are addressable 8 register, and 6 of them can be used as a this this 6 of them can be used as a 8-bit register, or they can be used as a 16-bit register pair. So we can combine this when we have to point the address, when we have to make use of this register as a address pointer. We can use BC in combination, BC DE in pair. So BC DE and HL, so it becomes 16-bit register. So BC, where the lower address is stored in C register and higher address is stored in B register. See the accumulator. So let us see the first register, that is accumulator. All the arithmetical and logical operations and load and store and input output instruction are done with the help of the accumulator. It is a 8-bit register. Okay, then these are called as a general purpose register. BC, DE and HL may be used as a 6 8-bit or 3 16-bit register depending on the instruction to be executed. The HL register pair can called as a data pointer. Okay, and can be used for address pointing. a few instruction uses BC and DE register pair as address pointer, but normally they are used as a general purpose data register. Many times we make use of HL as a address pointer. When we'll see the programming, we'll see that HL maximum time in maximum of programs we have made use of HL as a address pointer and BC and DE as a data register. So that are nothing but general purpose register. The program counter. Program counter nothing but PC. It is a 16-bit register and it always points to the memory location to the next instruction to be executed. So it always point to the memory location of the next instruction to be. It always contain a 16-bit address. It always has a 16-bit address. The stack pointer. It is a special purpose address pointer or data pointer. It always points to the stack, top of the stack in the RAM. So it always point to the top of the RAM. Okay. It is also a 16-bit register. The flag, very important flag. It consists of 5 1-bit flags containing CPU status information. So it gives us the information. These flags are used by conditional jump, call and return from the subroutine instruction. So during the subroutine instruction, jump instruction, the flags are set and reset. So during arithmetical and logical operation also, these flags are set or reset. So when we are seeing ALU, that is arithmetic logic unit, we are seeing that how the status, these flags are affected. Yeah. So accumulator. Accumulator is a 8-bit register in 8085. It performs logic, arithmetical, logical, input, output and load and store operation. Register A is also called as a part of ALU. When we are done arithmetic logic unit where the arithmetical and logical operation are carried out like by using a binary adder and a shifter, the accumulator is a part. One of the data is always stored in ALU, right? And again after the execution, after the arithmetical operation, again the result is stored in accumulator, right? So it is used to store the intermediate or arithmetical and logical operation data in computer. In arithmetical operation involving two operand, one operand has to be in this register and the result of the arithmetical operation will be stored in accumulator. In this way, similarly in the logical operation involving two operand, one of the operand has to be accumulator, right? And like also another operation like complement, decimal, adjustment can be performed only on the accumulator. So all these functions are done with the help of accumulator. Not see, when you want to take the complement, you have studied ones complement, you have to move the data in accumulator, then only it is possible to get the ones complement of the result. Now one of the operand is always stored in accumulator. So here see the instruction is given, that is nothing but add B. What is add B? So for addition we require 2 bits, right? Two numbers. So one of the data is stored in register B. The another data is automatically stored or it is in accumulator. It has to be in accumulator, then only we can execute this instruction add B. So it will add the content of accumulator with the content of register B, and after addition again the result will be stored in accumulator. So it keeps on overwriting. See, the accumulator keeps on overwriting. First it had the data, now it has the result. Now after you are executing this instruction, what is this instruction? XRA, exclusive OR. You have studied in 11th standard exclusive OR. When the inputs are different, then only the output is high. That is nothing but exclusive OR. So exclusive or C. So exclusive or C means A, the content of accumulator will be exclusive or with the content of register C, and again the result will be stored in A. So one of the operand should be always be stored, means one of the data has to be stored in accumulator, then only we can perform this instruction and the result will stored in the accumulator. So when we want to take the complement, once complement, again the data has to be first stored in accumulator, and then only we can execute the instruction, that is CMA instruction, to find the ones complement of the number, a binary number. Clear? So accumulator is very important. All the data transfer between CPU and input output devices are performed through accumulator. So when students will be doing the programming of assembly language, we'll see every time we make use of this accumulator for all the logical and arithmetical operation. Accumulator is one of the operand. Clear? General purpose register. So there are 6 general purpose register: B, C, D, E, H, L. They might be used as a 8-bit register, or they can be used as a 16-bit register. So when we have to uh, load the address, we'll use them as a pair, and where you have to store or use as a data, so this register will be used as a 8 pair, a 8-bit register. Normally they are used as a general purpose data register. BC and DE may be used as a address pointer. So whenever you want to point the address, then we will use in combination pair BC, where the lower address will be stored in C and the higher address will be stored in B, right? Similarly DE, so D stores the higher address and E stores the lower address. HL the same with HL. HL stores the higher address, and HL can be used as a for address pointer, or it is used as a memory pointer also, right? So these are nothing but general purpose register. Now stack pointer is a 16-bit register. Stack is the area of RAM where you can store the data temporarily. Stack is like a stack of the book. See, books are kept one another. Similarly, the data is kept in the stack like one another, right? Used to store the address and data. Stack is a last in first out. See, last in ये सबसे बाद में रखा, सबसे पहले निकल जाएगा, right? So last in first out data structure implemented in the RAM, right? So with the help of increment, now we can keep the data on the RAM, and the stack pointer points to the last data top of the stack. So it is pointing to the top of the stack. Now it is pointing where? To the data, that is 5FH, that is top of the stack. So when you keep the data, this pointer will move automatically. Address of the top of the data is stored in the stack pointer. The stack of the top of the stack, the stack pointer will always, now again by using the push and pop instruction, you can push the data in the stack, and by using pop you can remove the data from this stack. So here you can remove the book and you can put. Removing the book is nothing but pop, and inserting or keeping the book on the top of this book, it is nothing but push. Okay, so by using push instruction you can push the data on the top of the stacks, and the stack pointer will be decrementing. So with the help of increment and decrement, the stack pointer is decrement each time the data is pushed. So see, now the if suppose that stack pointer was pointing at 25, what was the stack pointer was pointing to? Which address? FFFE. So you are pushing the data, that is 5F. So the stack pointer has decremented from E to D. So FFFD. Again you push the data, again the stack pointer will automatically move up, and the address will be decremented, that is to FFFC. Is it clear? So each time you use the instruction push instruction, the stack pointer address will be decrementing. Similarly, when you pop means we remove the item, the stack pointer will be incremented by each time the popped off the stack. So when you remove this 5f from this stack, so the stack pointer now will point to which data. It will point to the 25h data. The address will be, the stack pointer address will be FFFE. Clear? So it will increment. So push will decrement the stack pointer and pop will increment the stack pointer. Pop will shrink the stack and push will be increase the stack. So adding the item is push and removing the item is pop. Is it clear? So stack pointer is used to insert the data and to retrieve the data from the stack. Clear? So that is nothing but stack. Stack is a last in first out. See, we keep this book last, so we can take this first out data structure implemented in the RAM area. Program counter. Program counter is a 16-bit register. So program is a sequence of instruction. So as mentioned earlier, the microprocessor fetches these instructions from the memory and execute them. The program counter is a special purpose register which at a given time stores the address of the next instruction to be executed. So program counter stores the address of the next instruction to be fetched. Okay, the program counter acts as a pointer to the next memory location instruction. Okay, so program counter acts as a pointer to the next instruction. How the processor increments the program counter depends upon the nature of the instruction. So the program counter will be increment by 1, or it will be increment by 2, or it will increment by 3, depends on the instruction. If it is a 1 byte instruction, then the program counter will increment by 1. If it is a 2 byte instruction, the program counter will be increment by 2, and if it is a 3 byte instruction, the program counter will be incremented by 3. The microprocessor is used this register to sequence the execution of the instruction. The program counter is automatically incremented after a particular instruction has been fetched by the CPU or MPU. So automatically it get incremented once the instruction is fetched by the MPU. That is nothing but program counter. So let us see the flag register. Flag is a single bit status register. So there are totally in 8085 has 5 flags, and these are single bit status register. They are nothing but the flip-flop which stores either 1 or 0 value in it. The flag are either set or reset. Set means it will be 1, or reset means it will be have binary binary value 0 by the ALU according to the result in the by the ALU. So according to the answer produced by the ALU, the flags are either set or reset. I said in ALU we perform arithmetical and logical operation. So depending on their result, that the flags are either set or reset. These flags are used by conditional jump call and return from the subroutine instruction. So these flags are used when it is a conditional jump. Say when we have to apply a conditional in the program while writing the program. If you want to apply that certain condition, you have to jump, then the flags are made use of the flags call and return from the subroutine. When we are passing the program control to the subroutine to bring back the control to back in the program, we make use of this flag. In 8085 we have has a 5 flags. So let us see these 5 flags. So the flag registers has 8 bit, but 8085 has 5 flags. the bit pattern is shown over here. This is nothing D0 bit, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, that is nothing but bit pattern. So D0 bit, that is a carry flag, CY flag, carry flag. The D1, there is nothing, no undefined bit D1. D2 is P, that is parity flag. Then D3 is undefined again. D4 is auxiliary carry. Then D5 is undefined bit. D6 zero flag and D7 sign flag. So 8085 have five flags, which are the carry flag, parity flag, auxiliary carry flag, zero flag and sign flag. So during the arithmetical and logical operation, these five flags either set or reset, and they are made use during the jump, conditional jump, call or subroutine, right? So subroutine instructions. So they are set or reset. So we'll see detail about this with example of each flag when they are set and when they are reset. These three bits only out of 8, 5, we have 5 flags in 8085, and because it is a 8-bit data bit, so these three are undefined bits, that is D1, D3 and D5 are undefined bits. So in 8085 we have 5 flags, which are the carry flag, parity flag, auxiliary carry flag, zero flag and sign flag. In next lecture we will see these flags in detail. So in today's lecture we have seen the programming model of 8085. So in next lecture we will be seeing the flag in details. So here we came to the end of the introduction to microprocessor and organization of 8085 session 4. Thank you.